Johnson, editorial page editor of the Eagle-Tribune. I'm here with Scott Brown, state senator and candidate for the United States Senate. He's a Republican from Rentham, and you're running for the seat vacated by the late Senator Ted Kennedy.
I am, and thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to you and your viewers.
Great. Tell us a little bit about why you want to be elected senator and what you would bring to the job.
Well, thank you. I'm running very similar to why I ran almost 20 years ago. I was unhappy with what was happening in my hometown of Rentham. And I'm similarly unhappy with what's happening not only locally but nationally. People are hurting. Finances are way out of balance. We're on a $1.4 trillion deficit and a almost $12 trillion national debt. We have stimulus packages that are not stimulating anything. And we have some very real fiscal problems. And being in the legislature and working very hard to ensure that we streamline, consolidate, reform, I feel I can use that experience not only at the local level and being a former assessor and selectman as well, at the national level, because we already have 11 people down there now who are voting the same way, really beholden to the same special interests, and doing everything that the leadership wants. And wouldn't it be nice to have somebody a little bit different who's an independent thinker and talker and voter? And that's why I'm looking forward to the opportunity.
Great. You are a Republican and running for statewide office in a heavily Democratic state. What do you need to do to make yourself stand out?
Well, I need to do what I've done in the last 10 elections I've had, and that's just be myself and be a plain talker and thinker, an independent voter. And having taken over 6,000 votes, I've never been beholden to any special interest group or any particular party. I look at the issue, see if it's good for the people of my district and ultimately the people of Massachusetts, and that's what I plan to do down in Washington, is to look, first of all, to see if a bill is good for Massachusetts. And the cap and trade bill, the health care proposal, illegal immigration, there's a whole host of things that right now are not good for Massachusetts, and that bothers me greatly.
You mentioned a couple of issues there, cap and trade, the health care bill. What do you think are the 3 or 4 most important issues before Congress that are the most important to the people of Massachusetts?
Well, I think the biggest issue affecting everybody throughout the country is jobs, job creation, job retention, job improvement. How do you make sure people can put food on their table, go out to a movie, put their kids through college? And the fact that we're trying to buy our way out of this problem instead of looking at some common sense things. For example, I would give the president the line item veto. I would also look at a top to bottom review of every program we have to try to find savings. We already have Medicare. The president said that there's $500 billion of waste. Well, get rid of it right now. And then also put a cap on spending, maybe inflation plus 1%. Look at entitlements to make sure that we can't do some adjustments there with some of the higher income earners. So there's just 5 things right off the bat. So jobs, job creation, job retention is number 1. Obviously dealing with our problems overseas with Afghanistan and Iraq, and making sure that we can continue to be a strong military power, help people when they need it with natural disasters and emergencies, and also protect our men and women and keep them safe and let them finish the jobs that they've been tasked to do.
Tell us a little more about your views on health care. It's one of the more contentious issues before the Congress right now. What do you think of the way Congress is handling the issue and trying to bring these bills forward?
Well, I feel the same way that almost every person that I've spoken to in Massachusetts feels, and they feel like they're being sold a bill of goods that isn't good for Massachusetts. Right now, the biggest question I have is how are they going to pay for it? We already have a $1 trillion stimulus bill. They're talking about a second one. What I would do is kind of get back some of the money that's still in the first one and redirect that to actual job creation. But the health care bill, especially the government option, anyone who has a Cadillac plan, any union members, a lot of folks that have great plans like we have in Massachusetts will either be taxed or they'll have to maybe get a lesser plan. The health care proposal, right now, I'm in favor of everyone having health care. We've done it in Massachusetts. But the plan that's being proposed federally, not only do the 11 reps and senators, congressmen and senators already support it, but the 4 candidates on the other side do, and it's not good for Massachusetts. It's going to cost us jobs, not only good medical jobs, but insurance jobs as well, insurance providers and carriers, and then cost the average citizen money when they can't afford it. It's pretty basic, and people should be outraged, and they should let their senator or congressman know their feelings on this.
Do you think the Massachusetts healthcare model can work nationally? It's having some problems here in the state with running up expenses that are much higher than the original estimates.
Well, actually, if you look at the real problem, there's two problems, and we're going to be wrestling with them because we've done pension reform, transportation reform, and ethics reform. We have to get into this a little bit more by dealing with the mandates and also get a managed care arm in there. That will help. But if you look, what's really happening is the money that the hospitals are saving on the free care pool, that's the money that we give them to cover people who aren't insured, illegal aliens and others. They have surpluses now, and that money was supposed to go back to fund the Commonwealth Care Program, and they're holding on to it. And Governor Patrick, did not put his foot down. He said, "Oh yeah, keep it," just so he didn't want to ruffle any feathers. But that's part of fixing that plan. We have the ability to do it, and if we did those three things, we would have a very solid, well-balanced plan.
Do you think that the so-called nation-building effort in Afghanistan is something that our military ought to be involved in?
I think it needs to be a combination of not only our military, but our civilian leaders need to get involved, and we need to build a coalition in that region. They have to want to be able to step up and fix their problems. We can't be the world's policeman forever on every single thing, and there will be a point that we will need to get out. But my biggest fear in pulling out is that we'll be there in 15 years from now trying to make sure that terrorism isn't being exported to the region and through Al-Qaeda and Taliban and throughout the world. So it's going to be a tough problem, and you need people. I think my military experience, I clearly have that over the other people running, and as well as the foreign policy experience to give some good suggestions.
Any final statements you want to make to our viewers?
Well, certainly you can go to brownforussenate.com. Let us know your thoughts. You can certainly volunteer. You can donate. And you have a real choice. You can send somebody down there who is in lockstep with everybody else, who's beholden to the special interests, will vote the same way and talk the same way, or you can send somebody down there who has a history of being independent and independent voting and serving. And I look forward to your comments. And thank you to the Tribune for having me out here. It means a lot.
The primary, Republican and Democratic primaries, will be on December 8th, and the general election is on January 19th.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.